Hello everybody and welcome back to Tales of Arise. I am John MugiwaraJM and let's continue. When we last left off, we found out one of the Renan realms, or the realms taken over by the Renans. Jab Peanut, thank you for the 100 bits. Thank you. It's been a while since I've seen you in my streams. I know I just talked to you last night, but how you doing? Anyway, like I was saying, apparently this, out of all the realms taken over by the Renans, this one seems peaceful. The people are being paid a fair wage. They're not being tortured, beaten, enslaved. Is it all that it's cracked up to be? Let's find out. All I know is that there's this underground team that has like a ton of fucking cats. Just relax until you got an early shift. Have to go early shift tomorrow. Yeah, those are not fun. So best of luck, and I hope you enjoy. Oh, before I start, do I have the DLC music on? Because as much as I love the music, and yeah, all right, I got the old Tales music. So I got the DLC for like the Legacy Tales music. So you can create a custom playlist of old songs from all the past Tales games. It's like I select 3 of them, and can I just fast travel to Vicent? Thank goodness. One thing I really hated about modern Tales games is, oh, you're in the middle of a story beat, you can't fast travel. Then what the fuck's the point of fast traveling? How glad I am to see you. Why? What's up? I have something to give to Kisara. She's a little hard to reach, so if you wouldn't mind, Oh, right, because you'd have to approach the palace to see her. Sure, we'll see if we get to her somehow. Thanks, I really appreciate it. As for the big plan, just wait for Zare. She'll deliver a message when it's time. Oh, is Zare the cat? Got it. We'll make sure to prepare in the meantime. Sorry to keep adding to your plate. Old bracelet.
Whew. I don't sense any more enemies.
I hear a cat. Hand Kisara the bracelet at Altalena Palace. Alright, so that was a story mission, but it wasn't voiced. What the hell? I cannot overstate how fucking gorgeous this game is.
Oh, good. There you are.
You people again. You shouldn't be loitering around here. Don't force me to arrest you.
Think we've established you couldn't even if you wanted to.
What?
Law, quit it. We're not here to argue with you, Captain. We've got something to deliver to you. Here.
That's... That bracelet. Is that my brother's? Why are you giving this to me? I can't help but wonder what my brother is planning with all this.
I'm not sure. That said, I think he was being sincere about everything he told us back there. I've met a lot of good people fighting to liberate Dana. And I got the same feeling from Migal that I did from all of them. I think we can trust him. I think you're a good person too. Otherwise you would report on us and the Gold Dust Cats, right?
What makes you think I won't?
Because Migal trusts you. And that's enough for me to trust you too.
You're a pretty unusual guy, Alphen. Do you go around acting like that everywhere you liberate people?
What do you mean?
Sorry, forget it. It's nothing.
Okay. Anyway, I think we'll find out more about what Migal's planning soon enough. All we can do now is wait and see what happens.
I guess so.
Where did the Vicent Inn?
I guess
Okay.
we just wait for things to kick off.
Yeah, looks like we'll be staying at the inn another night.
Where's that cat coming from? Oh, there's cats everywhere. Although Tails Over Eyes gets a point dock because you can't pet them. Hey, kitty.
Oh, it's Zare.
Hold on. She's got something tied to her collar.
Oh, she left.
It's a messenger kitty.
It happens tomorrow. They want us to meet in that underground quarry.
Then we should prepare while we still can. We'll spend the night here at the inn again. Well, this is it.
Yeah. What angle is the Lord gonna take?
That depends on Migal. Let's hurry to the quarry.
Just gonna make sure that we've got, Oh. No, I don't have any clay fragments. Fuck. Ooh, I can get her next weapon.
Have you guys checked your equipment lately? Why walk? I mean, as beautiful as the game is, I'd rather just fast travel.
Next petition! Step forward!
My lord, please hear my humble request.
Who goes there? Halt! Is that Migal? The traitor?
Guards! Don't let him get any closer! His Excellency's life is in grave danger! Kill them
What?
all at once!
Wait.
Stay back, Your Excellency. It's too dangerous.
Enough. He cannot harm me. Nor, I think, does he intend to do so. Isn't that right, Migal?
Indeed it is, Lord Dohalim.
I have heard many a rumor about you, but I suppose we'll have more time for those later. You have made some rather interesting friends.
He has something he wishes to show you. We are here to make sure he does.
And what could that be?
Please, my lord, you needn't give these miscreants the time of day. I shall personally...
Silence, Kelzelik. I wish to speak with them. Please, you were saying.
It's what's in there, my lord. Have you ever walked all the way through the quarry, my liege? Right to the other side?
Now that you mention it, I don't believe I have. It's a Dahnan medical facility of some kind, is it not?
I think you need to see for yourself, my lord. All I ask is that you witness this before you pass judgment upon me.
Then witness it I shall. Kisara, this man is your brother, correct? I would like to ask that you personally escort me while in there.
I'm afraid of what we're gonna find. The Raisin Quarry.
I should warn you, what lies ahead is fraught with danger. You should all take care and stay on your guard as we proceed.
Danger? What could be so dangerous about it? It's a regular workplace, isn't it?
You'll see. Please, I ask only that you trust me.
Sounds like you all need to rethink your medical facilities around here. Hospitals are supposed to be safe.
Quite. Kisara, let's see what they have to show us, shall we?
As you wish, my lord.
Your strength is appreciated. With you, we can all breathe a little easier.
Someone send that clip of like what Law said to Andrew Cuomo. Oh wait, you can't. He's not the governor anymore because he's preferred to an Italian. You befriended Kisara. Oh, Kisara's in the party now. Kisara's perk, guard ignition. Instead of evading, Kisara prefers the guard with her shield. You can even trigger some arts while guarding. Successfully guarding her raises her morale, making any arts unleashed while guarding and resulting in combos stronger and harder to block.
I didn't realize you held my strength in such high regard.
I meant what I said before. Anyone who tries to fight you will have a hard time of it. How long have you been wielding that enormous shield?
Ever since my first job as a guardsman, our duty was to stop any attack dead in its tracks, then take all that momentum and turn it right around to smash the attacker.
But why bother blocking in the first place? Wouldn't it be better to just dodge the attack and hit back immediately?
Try doing that when you've got someone standing behind you that you need to protect. This shield is a symbol of our conviction as guardsmen. Every time we successfully block an attack, our fighting spirit only grows stronger.
So what you're saying is that, unlike Law, you can actually take a hit.
I'm right here!
This area right here is where the real heart of darkness used to lie in Menancia. It wasn't unusual for the holes we dug in this earth to become our graves, and for the stones we mined to serve as our tombstones.
That's right. I can remember it so clearly. I remember how the adults used to describe this place. Like it was setting foot in the gaping maw of a monster. But anyway, that's all history now.
It is. All the bloodstains on the rocks, the still air, the constant stench of death. We're very lucky that it's all in the distant past. The smell of sweat and debris still hangs in the air. But at least now the Dahnans of Menancia can live with joy in their hearts. And it's you that we have to thank for this, Lord Dohalim. We would never have come so far if it wasn't for you.
Migal, why bring all of this up now? What exactly is the point?
I just wanted to remind us. I think it's important that we remember how precious the rights we enjoy under his lordship's grace truly are.
But I still don't get why...
You'll understand soon enough. For now, I simply want you to keep what I've said in mind as we continue our journey.
Oh, not exactly safe if there's monsters crawling around it.
It's teeming with Zeugles. Are they kept here as some kind of deterrent?
Not that I know of. This is where the spirit vessel is housed, so it's no place for beasts. What's going on? Where are all the laborers?
Unionizing?
You're the only one who doesn't seem in the least bit surprised. Perhaps you'd care to enlighten us?
All in due course, my lord. But first, just a little bit further. Once we reach our destination, everything will become clear soon enough.
Fine. As you wish.
Oh, I'm concerned. I worry that this guy actually is a traitor.
I noticed your shield just appears out of nowhere whenever you need to use it. Just like Shion and her gun.
Does it use the same Renin transferal technology too? Don't you need astral energy in order to use that?
You do. Obviously, I can't cast arts myself, but I'm equipped with a device that has the necessary energy charged into it. As long as I'm using the device, I can call forth my shield whenever I like.
Equipment charged with astral energy isn't all that rare.
So basically, there's nothing special about Renan technology that prevents Dahnans from using it?
No. But as you might expect, normally they'd never be given any of it in the first place.
It's not as if just anybody gets to have it here. You need to earn Lord Dohalim's trust before you're allowed access to it.
What makes you so sure he's not bribing you?
Rinwell.
I'm just
Candidate for most likely to be
It's not
racist.
normal.
I can understand why you'd be skeptical. However, Elde Menancia truly has transformed and evolved from the sort of realm it once was.
Yes, she's right. And that's exactly why I...
Migal?
Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll explain more once we arrive at our destination.
So before I... Is there a way to put her into the party, like... Or are they doing this a different way now? Oh, you know what? I want to walk around next to Kisara. First time I've changed characters all game. This thing sure hits hard when it charges at you. Let me see if I can help. I'll drive it back with this great shield. Kisara's boost attack. Kisara 6 her giant shield into the earth and to attack enemy and protect allies. If it hits an enemy, it'll hit them, down them and weaken any subsequent charge attacks. This move also boosts all allies' defense and elemental defense. Press L2 and up to perform a boost strike with a current party member who's not participating in the current battle.
If you're being charged, give me a shout.
Right. Thanks for the help. You're going!
You have to land the right area on their back.
Aim for the weak spot. Take this!
Glacial spear. Here's the evil.
Oh, I wasted it. Fuck.
Thanks, Kisara. Only getting started. I am far enough.
There we go. When boars and other enemies try to charge you, call on Kisara. Her boost attack stops charging and attacks dead enemy tracks and weakens enemy subsequent attempts.
You're finished! Dragon Double Demon Fang! Be still! I'm not done! Take it! You're going!
It's weakened.
This ends now! Swordline Alpha! Here I come! You're finished!
Raging
Sword! It's your way!
Freeze Lance.
No escape!
Raging storm.
Eagle dive!
Glacial spear. Pierce evil.
Here I come!
Freeze Lance.
Take this!
I'll be saving
Take this!
Move
Swordline Alpha! Kisara! Commander of Heaven! Phoenix Cyclone!
I didn't even see what happened. Holy fuck. You can change which characters will fight in combat as well as who you wish to control. Their position determines what to press to trigger their boost attack. Press L1 or R1 during combat to change who you control. Press options to change your character's battle control. Semi-auto. Yeah, I know.
I need to be stronger.
Oh, hell yeah. I got a clay fragment, so now I can make that weapon.
Let's dispose of the trash.
Glacial spear. Pierce evil.
Be still! Here I come! Be careful, everyone. This one isn't normal. Now! Flaming thrust! We got fires!
I've got this. Let a marksman handle it.
All yours!
Barely a blip on our radar.
Look at that smoke. Guess we'll just have to run straight through it. No, don't. This smoke is alarmingly thick. It's unhealthy. So what? Are you saying we just wait until it dissipates? No, we don't have to do that. This is a good time to use put some of my guardsmen training to use. Kisara's arts can purify poisonous clouds of smoke that block your path. To do so, approach the smoke and press up to spend CP to dispel it.
I didn't know you could use arts like that.
Yeah.
Is that the spirit vessel I'm looking at here? Right you are. To make the energy extraction easier, there's a crusher at the base of that ground rocks into fine pieces. Back in the day, it wasn't uncommon for people to accidentally fall inside. Yes, but now that nobody is forced to do that sort of hard labor anymore, such accidents are rare these days. And thankfully so, things are better than they used to be here.
How long have they been mining this place out?
Since before I was born. Or so they tell me. Probably for decades.
That long? I'm impressed the place has never caved in during all that time.
Oh man, I hope I live long enough to regret this.
It's a duel of the arts! This one's mine!
Now I can hit it work! An astral bite?
That's my cue! Annihilation!
Shut him down!
Reload!
Here I come!
Raging storm!
Take this!
Swallow's flight!
Double demon fang! Now!
Do it!
While it's reeling!
Take it down! Go for it!
Oh, these boost attacks are so cool. Okay.
Barely a blip on our radar.
But an opponent like this should be easy. I'm not done! You picked the wrong fight! Take this! Sword Lane Alpha! Another one is over!
Eat this! I'll finish you flying freaks! Why can't they just stand still?
Sia, can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done! Now! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
I never get tired of these.
Any injuries?
Everyone okay?
Fuck yeah, Symphonia music.
Don't tell me! Aim for the weak spot! Here I come! This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me.
Good! I'll leave it to you! Now, it's over! Ignite! It's over! Commander of Heaven! Phoenix Cyclone! My turn! Take this!
Now you see what I'm just getting started!
Flaming thrust! Swallow can feel my power growing.
Money.
Gotta break through.
Now I got some Vesperia songs.
Take this. I'm not done. You're mine.
I never miss.
I wonder if I'm as strong as my dad was.
One day I think you'll surpass him.
I wonder when.
Symphonia again.
You picked the wrong fight. Lightning thrust. Here I come.
But they're victims.
Soaring Alpha. You're aim for their weak spot. Try harder. Now. Escape.
Now you see what I can do!
Here's evil.
It's over. Here I come.
Do it.
Soaring Alpha. Do it. Commander of Heaven. Phoenix Alpha.
Here I go.
Not a chance. This one's all mine. Ignite.
Let's keep our eyes on the prize.
This looks nice and tough.
Go no further.
I'll stop your movement.
And all
That was such a good one. That's a good line. I'll stop your movements and I'll stop your life. It's so great. Ah!
Brace yourself. This one's tough. Take this. It's over. Get on. Come on.
hit a word!
Try harder.
Armor won't save you!
Not a chance. This one's all mine. I'll run you down.
I'll stop your movement.
And all stop your life!
Still good.
Let's keep our eyes on the prize.
Ooh, no ladder. Alright, who could really use it? Rinwell's like super low on that one, so.
I've got a really bad feeling about this. Here's evil. This one's mine.
Hit him work.
Hear me! Glacial spear. Here's evil.
Eat this.
We need to down.
Commander of Heaven.
Phoenix Buffalo.
Don't get careless.
This place is a lot more complicated than I expected. Is this the right way?
Yeah. You.
Here I come. Eat this. Here I come. There you are. I owe you one. Sword Lane Alpha. You're mine.
Astral energy.
Say no more. Not a chance.
Do it.
Kisara. Commander of Heaven.
Phoenix Buffalo.
Nice. No scratches on my shield or my armor.
I've got a really bad feeling about this.
I can carve through walls. Take this. You're finished.
Here, let me help.
Be still.
I feel this one's mine.
Now.
I never miss. More with the power
Take this. Sword Lane Alpha. Eat this.
Do it. Shield. Go for it. Prepare to crumble.
Now. You're mine.
Lunar corruption. Okay. By the power of wind, not on my watch.
Watch
This one dance in the wind.
You're mine.
Annihilation in the wind. Shield. Shield. Go for it. Prepare to crumble.
Everyone hanging in there?
Are you on alert for your brother? You needn't worry so much. He's not the type of man to act rashly.
Right.
Right, here goes. Take this. Lightning thrust. First strike. Stardust. Take this. Sword Lane Alpha. My turn. You're mine. It's over. Mirage. Lightning thrust. We did it. My turn. This one's all mine. My turn. Anything in armor is all mine. I'm on it. Take this. Mirage.
Our work is done here. Let's move.
I'm right behind you, Shion.
Don't get careless.
Don't tell me!
No escape!
I can handle this.
Here I come! Sword Rain Alpha!
Into the
It's
shadows
over!
now.
Battle! Aim for the
Warrior
weak spot!
Reload! Wall is ready. Corruption. Here I come. Annihilation. Reload.
Far enough!
Lightning condemned.
I'm on a roll now!
Corruption.
Do it!
Law, I'll stop your movement.
And I'll stop your life!
With this, I can become even stronger.
Gotta break through! Here I come! Sword Rain Alpha! Your mother! This one's all mine! Here I come! It's over!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished! My turn! Sword Rain Alpha!
Now you see what I can do!
Light confiscated!
Here I come! Be still!
Do it! Rigwell! Frozen!
Yo, that was a good one.
Lightning orb!
All right, so I've seen all of Kisara's team ups with the rest of the crew.
Nicely done. Looks like we've arrived.
This is the way to the medical facility, right?
You'll see. Let's keep going.
So there really is an underground lake here. Tell me, where's the medical facility?
It's not here. In fact, it never even existed in the first place.
But I've seen people carried in here with my own eyes. Where could
Drowned
they
and
have
dumped in the
all
water.
gone?
The answer is right in front of you. You need but open your eyes.
What do you mean?
Are you trying to say that they all drowned in this lake?
No. They're just what you see before you. What's left when matter ceases
Oh
to
my
be
god, they
matter.
melted into the lake. Ugh.
Perhaps the scale is throwing you off. Let me show you what I'm getting at.
What?
No way. It can't be.
So then, this entire lake is...
Yes. All this is the hollowing.
I still don't follow, Migal. What happened to your hand? And what is this hollowing you speak of?
This is what I wanted to show you, my lord. When life form's drained of its astral energy, its physical form breaks down completely, a death leaving no physical remains. All that's left is a reflective substance, the only proof that matter once existed at all. That hollowing is the substance that
Ugh,
feeds
that
this
is
lake.
grim. Ugh.
whole lake. How many people? How many Dahnans?
You actually expect
Of course
me
he
to
wouldn't
all
believe it.
That an astral arts illiterate Dahnan would know of this unseen atrocity? And that I, a Renan lord, would have no knowledge?
I have one last piece of evidence, Lord Dohalim. This is a fruit of Helgen. The cause of all of this.
Oh no.
What are you doing, Migal?
Here is your proof, my lord. Proof of the bounds of your knowledge. Proof of the countless Dahnan deaths under your watch. No, they were not merely deaths. Those Dahnans were completely erased. And now, the only testament is that lake of hollowing.
Migal!
Someone close to you is behind all of this. This person is amassing huge amounts of astral energy. You have to stop them. You're the only one who can prevent Menancia from returning to the living hell that it was once before. I beg you, for the future of the utopia you have created, please stop them. Don't let your dream die just as it's become a reality.
Wait a minute, I don't know if I...
Migal! Migal! Migal!
Forgive me, Kisara. I'm sorry. It was the only way I could open his eyes. I didn't have much time left anyway. Please, help our Lord Dohalim to make our greatest dream a reality.
Ah!
Migal!
Stop! That voice! Make it stop!
Dohalim!
What is this? His master core is going berserk.
Oh fuck.
Migal! Migal!
I know all you want is peace, but we need your help. We gotta get him under control.
Damn! As if he wasn't already strong enough!
Pray forgive me this, my lord.
Eat this!
Eagle Fly!
Sword Rain Alpha! Take this!
Eat this!
That rock is huge.
Watch out, everyone! Take this!
What's this?
Lightning sphere. Here's evil.
It's over!
Freeze blast.
Take
I can handle it.
Flaming
Thunder field.
Mirage!
Dance
I
in
got
the
flaming
wind.
thrust!
I never miss.
There you are!
Light angel energy. Dance in the wind. Annihilation. Field.
Flaming thrust!
More for the stockpile. Lightning. Downfall. Lightning orb.
Flaming thrust!
Dance in the wind. I'll be
Take
there.
this!
Look out for the charge attack.
Nothing gets through me. This I swear.
All mine!
Field.
Ignite!
Here goes.
Be still!
Not on my watch. Steering flame.
This should do it!
Lightning orb.
Try harder!
One.
Be still! You're finished!
Steering flame.
No escape! Sword Rain Alpha!
Ready to go. Thunder field. Energy. I'm all
Sword
set.
Rain!
Where are you going?
Here goes!
No further.
He stopped moving. Get him now!
Please forgive me.
Raging storm.
I really know
Leading
you.
away! This one's all mine!
Eagle Blaster Spear. Now. Astral energy.
Say no more!
Lightning.
Take this! Take this!
I can carve through
Take this! You're mine! I'm Sword Rain Alpha! You're the Demon Fang! You're finished! It's over! Strike! I'm down to one!
Eagle Fly. By the power of
Try harder!
Far enough. Energy. I'm all set.
Not down, not out! I owe you one!
Where are you going?
Piss off! Sword Rain Alpha! I have no limits! Be still! Mirage! Sword Rain Alpha! Strike! Be still! Mirage! Flaming thrust! Mirage! Sword Rain Alpha! Be still!
Ready to go.
Mirage! you all right? What was that just now? I understand this is a lot for you to take in, but Migal trusted you.
Impossible. I have no such power. Truth be told, I never wanted this. I never wanted to be a lord. However, competing for a position in the crown contest was required of me, and in the process, I took the life of a dear friend. The life I took and the bloodshed, the hatred that it earned me. It was far more than I could ever bear. But the screams and tears of the slaves, they would reawaken my memories of that day. The memories of my friend's scream, and the tears of the one who mourned him. I couldn't take it any longer. I didn't want to remember.
So that's it? That's the real reason you freed the Dahnans? Just so you wouldn't have to listen to their screams?
Wait. So everything you've done...
Precisely. It was simply to distance myself from all the pain and death, all for my own selfish ends. And if it made everyone happy in the process, then that was just an added benefit. Or perhaps I truly did believe in those ideals at one point. But living up to them was never my aim.
Impossible. You dream of coexistence? The ideals that you always championed? So you're saying that everything you stood for, you're saying it was all just a self-obsessed lie? Tell me it isn't true, Lord Dohalim. Because my brother believed in you in your dream!
Forgive me.
So this is who you really are?
Stop!
Let go! Let me go! Let me go!
It's enough, Kisara!
Let go!
Stop!
I'll tear him apart! I swear I'll...
Were you trying to ignore your brother's dying wish? He entrusted you with his dream!
Just kill me.
Oh, damn phone drop on the floor. Ruined the fucking tension.
Shrank from his duties. I would only ask that you make it quick.
This man... This is the person my brother died for. And for what? For what? I need you to get out of my sight right now. Go, before I change my mind.
Are you feeling any better?
Yeah, a little. Thanks.
What are we gonna do now?
I still have unfinished business with Dohalim.
He's a world away from the Lord Balsef was. There's no need for us to fight him, Shion.
In case you've forgotten, I
Guys,
don't...
guys! I think something's going on outside.
Kisara! There you are!
What's happening?
Kelzelik has started an insurrection. He's driving all of the Dahnans out of the palace.
What? Has he lost his mind? What about Lord Dohalim?
We don't know where he is, Captain. We thought maybe you would.
No, I don't. I haven't seen him since we were inside the quarry.
Damn. Well, either way, I wouldn't go near the palace. Any suspected Renan sympathizers are being arrested on sight. This whole thing is a powder keg about to explode. Best prepare for the worst.
Kelzelik is in the... Oh, his vizier. I guess that's who that is. The guy with the glasses. The one that was like, I'd speak not of them, my lord. That guy.
Here like the idea of coexisting with the Dahnans after all.
So this is it. This is the real Menancia.
Are you giving up?
On what? This realm is already finished. It perished along with my brother's dream.
That's a shame. And I guess all the people who believed in that dream are on their own out there, aren't they? Not all of the Renan sided with Kelzelik. There's still hope, Kisara. Your brother's dream is only dead when there's nobody left who believes in it. Am I wrong?
You're right. I'm going to the palace. I need to see what's happening there with my own eyes. What are you all doing?
I thought it was pretty clear. We're coming with you.
I appreciate the thought, really. But there's no need for you all to get involved in this.
Dohalim said it himself, right? All of us, we're liberators.
Thank you.
Calves of steel.
Will things be okay in the city?
I'm concerned about that as well. But for now, let us get to the palace. We have to stop Sir Kelzelik.
Don't you think it's about time you dropped the sir?
He always treated us Dahnans with such warmth and kindness. Did he have such bad intentions all along? I just can't bring myself to believe it.
Forget about intentions. We should assume he's the one who's behind all these incidents. It's not surprising to me that there are Renans in Menancia who resent Dohalim, but I didn't expect one would be so close to him.
Yes, I suppose you're right. I guess all of us here in Menancia are still some way off from being a truly united realm, aren't we?
Are you going to be okay, Kisara?
I don't know, but I definitely don't want things to end like this. Please, lend me your strength.
Of course. Anyone who tries to oppress others is our enemy, and we'll gladly stand against them. Besides, I want to believe that this realm really can do better too.
The fact the enemy's holding themselves up tells me they're not exactly happy to see us.
Then we'd better go in prepared for whatever welcome we get. See fighting throughout the city, but it's dead quiet.
Either Dohalim's allies have been arrested, or they're keeping a low profile.
Meaning the rebels are occupying the palace? And let's hurry up and kick those bastards out.
Out to Lena Palace, where we were earlier, but we never really explored it.
This place is awfully quiet for a siege palace.
Such a huge place is spooky without all those people here.
They're probably waiting to ambush us.
With so few Renans here, I guess this is what it's like when the Dahnans are expelled and the ruling minority are all that's left. My money's on them using Zeugles to even the odds.
I don't even see any Dahnan guardsmen.
The fact that they're not at their stations tells me they really have been driven out. We all swore an oath of loyalty to Lord Dohalim. My fellow guards wouldn't abandon their post lightly.
Speaking of which, where the heck is he?
How could this be happening?
Any idea where we should go in the main building?
Let's try the Lord's chamber.
Worth a shot.
What the? That cow's lick. Did he really manage to deploy these barriers inside the palace? Guess that means we're on the right track of finding him. Is there any way we can get rid of these? If memory serves, there's a release mechanism somewhere. My first guess would be inside his personal office.
Hey, Law, you can bust that wall open, can't you?
Well, let's give it a try and find out!
You sure about that? From what I hear, that thing can stop even a cannonball.
On second thought, let's see if there's a release mechanism somewhere.
Kisara, do you have any idea just what Kelzelik might be planning at the palace?
It's hard to say. I've never seen him use any powerful arts, and I don't think he's particularly skilled with any weapons either. However, I have noticed him accompanied by something strange from time to time.
What kind of strange?
I don't know. I couldn't see anything with him, but I could sense something was there. Probably some sort of Zoogle.
An invisible Zoogle?
We'd better be careful in any case. I'd rather we not find out after it jumps us and tries to rip our throats out.
No shield can stand up to these fists!
I see one, eh? Look out, flyers!
I've got this! Let him handle it!
Its armor's too strong! Then I'll split it open!
Be my guest! You're finished! We're not finished!
I can carve through walls!
My shield! Eat this! Sword Ring Alpha! Talon Sword! Take this! It's over! You're mine! Look sharp!
Lightning Tiger Blade! We can really make weapons with this? You know, the more I think about it, this palace is way too big for its own good.
Tell me about it. Plus, where the hell were these soldiers and Zoogles all this time?
Nope. It'll be a breeze. Get in, get out.
Glacial Spear!
Going in! Bring it! You're finished! I'm not done! Shut up!
I can rip one line!
You're mine! You're finished!
Shield! Go for it!
Prepare to crumble!
Our work is done here. Let's move.
I'm right behind you, Shion.
Out of our way!
Ignite!
I'll punch that gun out of your hand!
We're not finished!
Rip in 10!
Sword Ring Alpha!
Its armor's too strong! Then I'll split it open!
Be my guest!
Go for it!
Prepare to crumble!
Now! Here I come!
Do it! Shield! Go for it!
Prepare to crumble!
No chance! Talon Sword! You're mine! Be still!
I'll stop your movement!
And I'll stop your life!
With this, I can become even stronger.
And a hastily scrawled note. Commerce with Mahag Saar grows more inscrutable by the day. We send vast quantities of resources, but only receive a pittance of dodgy goods in return. Is his lordship aware of this?
So what is Mahag Saar exactly?
One of the 5 realms of Dana. From the sound of it, Kelzelik had some dealings with them.
Selection of books and etiquette. Titles alone make your posture go rigid.
Armor won't save you! Hear my call! You'll have no mercy!
Frozen.
Hammer! My turn!
This one's mine.
Lightning strike!
I need to be stronger.
Writing scribbled in the margins. My comrades, once you occupy the palace, engage the barriers post haste. You know which room to leave the mechanism in. Return the key to the room of the specified cabinet.
Is that some kind of note the rebels left?
Hey, it mentions the release mechanism we're looking for, but
This isn't enough to go on.
get lost.
Just wanted to see which character is what level, but I guess it won't tell me here.
Our work is done here.
All right,
Let's move.
everybody except
I'm right
Kisara
behind you,
and
Shion.
Shion are level 22.
Hi, Hoodle.
You picked the wrong fight! Sword Lane Alpha! Damn it! I won't show you any mercy! You got spirit! Double Demon Fang! Mission!
Take this!
You're mine!
There's always room for improvement.
Noble room is locked.
Right.
These are the guards' personal quarters. If you need anything in here, feel free to take it. Is this where you sleep too? I got the impression the guard was mostly made up of men. Oh, the quarters are divided between men and women. We're standing in the women's room right now. Gotcha. Guess I better be careful not to disturb too much while I'm here then, huh? I wouldn't if you
Right.
don't want to end up on the wrong side of her mace. Pork bun recipe. The best defense is a good shield. An illustrated guide to shield historia. Whoever owned these books sure like shields. Array of guard weaponry. It appears to be quite well maintained. Oh, the office.
No choice.
Now you'll learn. It's in the sky. It's mine.
It's over.
Lightning orb.
Ignite.
Raging
Kisara, commander of heaven.
Phoenix Cyclone.
Not a chance.
Dragon Shell.
Mirage.
Here it goes. Now, Radiant.
I can feel my power growing.
Noble room key.
I think this is a key to the noble room of the castle.
A noble what?
The room at the northern end of this floor. Maybe the release mechanism is in there.
Oh, that's where we just were. And you jagoffs are sitting in front of it, so.
No choice. On my lord! Take down their defenses. It's almost too strong. It'll split it up. Be my guest.
Glacial Spear.
Like shield to Alpha. Be still.
Now, Rigwell. Frozen. Hammer.
Not a chance. You picked the wrong fight.
Our work is done here. Let's move.
I'm right behind. Shion.
You people aren't supposed to be here.
Back it down. Now you'll learn.
Blade and Fist. Glacial Spear. Here's evil.
Take it. You're finished. Here I come.
Shion. Go for it. Prepare to crumble.
Looks like there's nothing to find here. Guess that makes this a bust. Guess got any other ideas about places we should check? If it's not in his office, then I'd check the barracks or maybe even the meeting room. Got it.
All right.
Let's comb through both those places and see what we come up with.
There are enemy forces here too?
They must be predicting our movements and deploying accordingly.
So they figured we were coming all along, is that it?
We have not yet tried the meeting room. I just ran past it.
It'll be a breeze. Get in, get out.
They really don't give up, do they?
Not today. Here I come. Smash you.
Do it! Neon, Astral Energy, full throttle!
I've been doing really great lately.
Let's dispose of the trash.
Bring him down.
Dream! Dance in the wind! Air rush!
Kisara, commander of heaven.
Phoenix Cyclone! Dance in the wind!
Our work is done here. Let's move.
I'm right behind you, Shion.
Already scribbled on the margins. My comrades, in the event of an emergency, you are to disengage the barriers and provide support. You know which room releases the mechanism then. Do not forget to retrieve the key from my office.
Look, another note from the rebels.
If we combine it with the note we found before, then there should be a key inside a cabinet in the office.
Great. Let's see if we can find it.
Back to the office again. Bye-bye. It's a cabinet for storing keys. Duplicate Lord's Quarters key. Key to Lord's Quarters in Altonia Palace. This may afford a glimpse into yet unseen aspects of the Lord's private life.
Even Dahnans and Renans aren't on completely equal footing here. Both sides still cared about each other. And now we have to fight some of those same Renans inside the palace.
Don't forget, we're here fighting to keep what makes this realm so special alive. Don't lose hope, Kisara.
No backing down! On my lord!
You think that shield will save you?
I see one, eh? Take this! You're finished! Here I go! It sounds too strong! Split it open! Be my guest! Ignite!
I can handle it.
Here I come!
Get in your dreams. Do it.
Ready and waiting! Commander of Heaven! Phoenix Cyclone! Not a chance! Here I come! Armor won't save you! It's over!
Glacial spear.
More
Freeze Lancer.
Our work is done here. Let's move.
I'm right.
No backing down! Now you'll learn!
This one's mine. I'll have to take my revenge on you.
You're finished! This one's all mine!
That's my cue.
Shut him down!
I'll stop your movement.
And I'll stop your run!
Everyone hanging in there?
The Joys of Music, concerto pieces for quartets. An eclectic mix of books on high-level academic subjects, gourmet food, curios, and more. This selection provides insights to the character of the owner.
Did that finally get rid of the wall?
To think they would hide it in Lord Dohalim's personal quarters. The nerve of these people.
They won't get away with it for much longer.
That's right. We have to hurry.
String
to the
scores
Lord's
to tug at
chamber.
the heartstrings.
Let's go.
Why couldn't we hear what he was saying?
Well, well, if it isn't the slaves and the traitor. I don't remember giving you permission to enter the palace.
So it's true. You really are the one behind all this, Kelzelik.
I don't remember giving you permission to speak either. Know your place, slave.
Now we see his true colors.
Yeah, a despicable excuse for a human being. Though really, I guess that makes him pretty ordinary, huh?
Kelzelik, you were Lord Dohalim's most trusted advisor. His closest ally. Why would you betray him?
Don't be a fool. I didn't serve him because I wanted to. I expect a mere slave wouldn't know that there are many powerful contenders for the position of Lord. A contest of strength determines the one who will be Lord and undisputed ruler of a realm. There is no choice in the selection. If my master had any ambitions of becoming the sovereign, I would have gladly served him.
But he had no intention of fighting for the crown.
Indeed. Can you slaves even imagine how that looked to the rest of us? Enduring the whims of an ambitionless lord, all we could do was wait for the end as we suffered through our humiliation.
You want suffering? Try being Dahnan for a day.
So you plotted against Lord Dohalim in secret. And when my brother found out...
And I would do it all again if it meant returning Menancia to its rightful state. A realm where Dahnans are slaves and Renans their masters. It's the natural order.
Enough! Who are you to decide what is natural or rightful, traitor? Migal. My brother. He dreamed of building a world free of suffering. He gave his life for that dream. And all you've managed to build is a lake of death.
I'll make it an ocean!
You killed my brother. And now you'll die for it!
What the fuck?
My brother's dead because of you.
Why should I concern myself with the passing of one pathetic slave?
Have you no shame?
Ready! Careful! It has some kind of camouflage! Go for the weak point!
You're mine! You're finished!
Watch this!
Here I come!
Rip it down!
It's on! Burn!
Here I come! In here! This one's mine!
Sword Lane Alpha! Flaming Thrust!
I'm on it! Here I go! I'm just
Here I
getting
come.
over! Gale
You're
Force!
finished!
Rip it down! Dance in the wind!
It vanished again?
Listen carefully and keep your eyes peeled.
Here I come!
One more! You're mine! Blazing Cascade!
Sword Lane Alpha!
It's weakened!
Be still! This ends now!
Eagle!
Sword Lane Alpha!
Thunder Field!
Mirage!
Anything in armor is all mine! Photon! Dance in the wind!
Flaming Thrust!
Air
Burn!
Radiant!
I'm on it! Mirage Escape!
Did you hear it now?
Here I go!
Mirage! Here I come! Mirage!
Not in your dreams!
Blow away!
Reload! This one's mine! Raging Where are you going?
Crush! Double Demon Fang! Be still!
I'm on it! Come and get it! Do it!
Mirage! Kisara!
Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
You're mine!
Talent Hurricane! Lightning Raging Blast!
I'll tear you apart! Burn in hell!
Enemies incoming!
It's over!
Then we'll take them down!
Sword Lane Alpha! Double Demon Fang! Be
Raging
still!
water!
Take this!
That move!
Here comes a big one! It's over!
Back into the front!
You're mine! Double Demon Fang! Dazzle! Mirage!
I can carve through armor!
Dazzle!
Here's a healing shield!
Mirage! Flaming Thrust!
Watch
Mirage!
Glacial Spear! Pierce Eagle!
Sword Lane Alpha! Take this! It's It's over!
Lightning! Bloody down!
Burn in hell!
All good
Do
days
it!
come to an end.
Ridwell! Frozen!
Hammer!
My turn! Take this!
This one's mine!
War now!
Breaking storm!
Freaking does it!
Will this help?
I'm not feeling so great.
Here, let me help.
Take this! Take this!
Lost, you alright?
Yeah, I'll be okay.
I'll heal you all!
Try harder!
Armor won't save you!
Healing circle! That's my cue!
Shut him down! Sword Rain Alpha! Take this!
Annihilation! Radiant
Take this! You'll finish!
Go away!
No escape!
Eruption!
Shouldn't have messed with me!
Gemini Aqua!
Try harder! It's gonna attack!
Breaking! Watch out! Wasn't weak. This one's
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! Dragon shout!
I'm almost impressed.
My praise coming from you.
I said almost. Don't get carried away. I never miss.
Take it! Far enough! Here I come!
I really need you.
Not today! Take it! Crush! Sturda!
Do it!
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Alright, that takes care of him.
You filthy slaves are despicable.
Your dreams of attaining lordship are no more. Give up, Kelzelik.
Attaining lordship. Ridiculous. Only those who possess a master core can become a lord. What, did you think just anyone could do it?
But then, what were you trying to accomplish with this? Didn't you betray your lord?
Yes, that's true. However, there are other lords.
Other lords? So you mean...
At last, the truth is revealed.
Dohalim, where have you been this whole time?
Cleaning up. Kelzelik, you've made your last of these.
The fruit of Helgen?
It can't be. You found my production facility?
Correct. And I tore it down. But something still troubles me. It's clear that this is no ordinary fruit. Nor was the equipment used to grow it. You couldn't have done all this without outside assistance. Indeed. Something like this must have come from another realm. Mahag Saar, perhaps?
You actually expect me to talk now? At this point, the contest for the crown will be over soon enough, and you will finally receive the punishment you deserve for your weakness.
I've already received my punishment. May this be my final act as the Lord of Elde Menancia. Go to Mahag Saar, Ganath Horrors, wherever you think you'll find a suitable lord.
Are you alright with this? He killed your brother after all.
He did. But then I thought, he's nothing more than one common, ordinary Renan. He's not worthy of my time or my anger, right?
So after everything, was the dream of coexisting just a dream? What is that?
Those are the cheers of the brave Dahnans who overpowered Kelzelik's forces.
Wait, they challenged the Renans?
Indeed. A militia made up of Dahnan guardsmen, Renan supporters, and of course, the Gold Dust Cats.
Do we have you to thank for bringing them all together?
Regardless of what your original motivations were, your dream of coexistence saved countless lives. And now, those people out there are fighting to keep that dream alive. That's something real.
Be that as it may, they do so now by their own hands. These people no longer need any lord.
Where are you going?
To put an end to the crown contest. So long as its madness persists, peace will remain ever out of reach. I cannot allow it to continue.
The crown contest impacts far more than just the Dahnans. You're choosing to fight Lenegis and the entire Empire.
I am well aware. However, if I wish to keep this dream from dying, then I have little choice in the matter. Besides, it's the least I can do.
So you're gonna go out there and make that dream real on your own?
You may be decided on your path, but that doesn't make it any less difficult.
Why not walk that road with us?
Pardon?
You heard me. We're fighting to liberate the Dahnans. You're fighting for the people of this realm. I'd say we're on the same path, really. It would only make sense for us to walk it together.
Dahnan dissidents, side by side with a Renan lord? Not the least intriguing invitation I've received. An invitation which would only be proper courtesy for me to accept.
I'll take that as a yes.
Hey, where'd Kisara go? I don't see her anywhere.
Maybe she just needed some time alone. A lot's happened.
That makes sense. She did just lose her brother after all.
We ought to keep moving as well. So long as there are lords who draw breath, we have a mission to complete. Kisara's a big girl. I'm sure she can handle herself. We should hurry on ahead to our next destination.
I guess you're right. And it is a lot safer here than it was. What do you think, Dohalim?
I am not sure I have the right to say anything as far as Kisara is concerned.
Fair enough. Well, I, for one, would like to say goodbye if we get a chance. Let's keep an eye out for her as we leave.
You befriended Dohalim. Kisara left your party, Master Core of Earth. Cheese fondue recipe! If Dohalim perfect evades an enemy attack, his senses become heightened and his rod will gain momentum, greatly extending his range. His penetration will also rise, letting him interrupt enemies and land critical hits on them more often.
What's Kisara going to do now?
I'm sure it's complicated for her.
Where did Kisara run off to?
You don't think she took off after Kelzelik, do you?
No. Migal entrusted her with his dream. She wouldn't do something reckless like that. Right now, I think she just needs time to think. What she does from here on out is up to her. She has to be the one to decide.
Alright, so we got Dohalim in the party now.
You all arrived here from Cislodia, yes? In that case, you should depart via the south gate, rather than the one you arrived through.
After all that, Kisara never came back to see us.
I'm surprised she slipped away without us noticing. Where would she even go? I hope this place survives. You think the Dahnans and Renans have a chance of getting along? We didn't really do much to change things around here, did we?
This realm had its own walls to overcome. And in the end, it was the people themselves who decided to break them down, without any help from us. I hope they keep going. I really do.
Yeah, well, if you say so, I guess. Huh?
All right. I leave command of the Gold Dust Cats in your hands.
You've got nothing to worry about, Kisara. I'll do your brother proud.
Oh, I thought that was the cat talking.
Looks like it's time to go. Take good care of Zare for me. All right, Legil?
You've got it. Stay safe, Kisara.
Did you come to say goodbye?
Actually, I was wondering if you could use another companion.
Huh?
Well, we certainly don't mind you coming along. We just figured you'd stay behind and help rebuild. These people could use you.
I thought much the same thing. However, in the end, something changed my mind. Ever since Migal died, I've been thinking a lot. About where I went wrong, what I should have done differently. You know, that sort of thing. It's true that our dream of coexistence saved many Dahnan lives, but we were naive and short-sighted. I was so wrapped up in my idea of how things should be that I didn't see the problems that existed right in front of us. I thought we had been given a utopia, and so I never bothered to look too far past its surface. I chose to be ignorant. And because of that, because of me, my brother...
Migal's death wasn't your fault, Kisara.
Perhaps you're right. But in the end, it was me he entrusted this dream to. I learned that nothing in this life is free, or gained without sacrifice. Now that I know that, I'll just have to figure out what else I don't know.
So, decided to join us?
I have. And hopefully I can continue to protect Elde Menancia from outside the dream world, for the sake of those still inside.
And here I thought you joined for an opportunity on my life.
In all honesty, I'm grateful to you. I truly am. I don't blame you for what happened. But I must also leave your service. No longer will I be defined by protecting a Renin lord. From now on, when I fight to protect my dream. All I ask is that you do your part. That you fight alongside me. Not just for those who used to believe in your dream, but for those that still do. Dohalim.
I understand. I'm no longer a lord anyway.
Well, this crew just gets bigger and bigger. All right, where to, team?
We make for Mahag Saar, the Valley of the Four Winds.
Oh my god. Still racist. Comrades in freedom. You befriend a Kisara. Nachi recipe! Round springy dumplings, skin dumpling potatoes and flour. Pouring in some creamy sauce on top of mixed with a scrumptious delicacy. Leaf wrapped fish recipe. Reason why I took a picture of that, there's like a running joke with my my dad like tries to eat as many nachos as he can whenever he goes to Olive Garden. So I figured I would send that picture to him. Yeah, it's the whole crew now.
I'm amazed how easily you can move such a giant shield around like it's nothing.
Really? It's not actually as heavy as it looks.
It's really reassuring to have someone like you protecting us, though.
You know, I guess I never realized it before. But looking back, I've always been the sort to put myself in harm's way to protect those around me. Even before I joined the Elde Menancia Guard. So, in a way, using this shield to keep you all safe feels like it's what I was meant to do.
You don't need to worry about protecting me. I don't plan on relying on you.
That's okay. It doesn't matter if you do or not. I don't protect people because they ask me to. I do it because I want to, and because I think it's the right thing to do. That goes for you too, Dohalim.
Me?
Yes. You see, you and I both want the same thing. We have the same goal. That means it's in my best interest to continue to protect and keep you safe as well. Even now.
I'm not sure how much protecting I'll need either, but I appreciate the thought. I'm sure you'll do us proud, Kisara.
Right. You can all count on me.
What was Kelzalek even after in the end?
Isn't it obvious? Clearly he wanted the throne for himself, and was gonna have his goons execute Dohalim to get it.
He had to have known he couldn't hope to defeat a lord. He should have run while he had the chance, instead of holding himself up in the palace.
Maybe he thought he couldn't run? Either way, the outcome's the same.
So he got desperate and decided to go for broke?
One might argue that he was another victim of mine, in a sense.
Huh?
There is no greater calling in life to a Renin than the crown contest, yet I refused to take part. The shock he felt at that must have been truly immense. Enough to drive him to revolt, even though doing so meant defying Renin hierarchy.
I know I've said this before, But Dahnans and Renans wouldn't coexist here if it wasn't for your stance.
But that was no lofty idealism on my part, nor do I feel any pride at what occurred.
Spare us the pity party. You literally just joined us to uphold those ideals.
Shion?
No, she is absolutely correct. I shall speak no more of my misgivings.
Do you sense one of your friends, Hoodle?
That means there's an owl nearby.
Mahag Saar. That makes 4 out of the 5 realms that I've visited now.
I wonder what kind of lord we're gonna find there.
It doesn't matter. If they try to get in our way, we'll take them down and that'll be that.
Right, here goes! Dazzle! Take this! Dazzle!
Everlasting
If they rush you gotta just recover, okay?
Dazzle! Here I come! You're finished! You're mine! Double demon fang! Take it! Lightning!
Hold up! Is this as valuable as I think it is?
Let's dispose of the trash. If it's in the sky, I'm mine.
I'll take out the maiden with my shield.
Lunar corruption!
You're mine!
Lunar breath!
Far enough.
I'm not done!
Going in.
I'm not done!
This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me.
Let's keep our eyes on the prize.
I'll do my best.
Sword Lane Alpha! Here I
Good shot.
Stardust! Damn it!
This is it!
Sword Lane Alpha! Double demon fang!
God, make it rain. Kisara, I'll stop your movement.
And I'll stop your life!
Only the best materials in your garments.
You really do have quite the discerning eye, Dohalim.
I didn't realize there was a pond here.
Yeah, this is Taka Pond. And it happened to have saved my life once upon a time.
What do you mean?
As a kid, I survived life under the past lords by escaping here when I needed to. It's terrible to swim in, but great for catching a bite for dinner away from Renin eyes. Bear in mind, our rations back then weren't enough to live off of. You had to take matters into your own hands if you wanted enough food to survive.
But how did you catch them? With your bare hands?
That might take a while. Fish are prone to swim away at the first sign of trouble. I'd put bait or a lure on a line and use it with a fishing rod. You must not be familiar with fishing if this sounds new to you. Here, let me show you how it's done.
Various fishing spots are scattered across Dana, which contain different species of fish to catch. These fish can even be used in cooking, sold for gold, or even unlock new titles. So don't hesitate to try new fishing holes when you find them. Wouldn't be a JRPG if there wasn't fishing. Fishing consists of 4 steps: casting a line, luring fish, hooking them in, and reeling them in. For more information about these steps, consult the fishing controls topic. Oh, we're going to fish right now then, okay.
Hey, what do you think about that spot?
Good idea. I'll go for that one. Looks like I lost it.
Oh, you have to shake it.
Looks like I lost it. All right.
This fish music goes hard.
Well, that wasn't much of a challenge.
You sure know what
On
you're doing.
tilapia.
Is this what I think it is? Well, that wasn't much of a
Dahnan
challenge.
bass.
Not too shabby, friend.
And that's all there is to it.
Wow. It seems like you need to have good reflexes to catch anything. I don't know if it's really for me. Kisara? I think I've seen enough.
Oh, sorry. I guess I'm just in my own little world when I go fishing.
Looks like we're going to be here for a while.
That's how fishing goes. You wait for a bite, and then the real battle begins. Migal told me that different fish live in different regions, and you have to pick the right rod and lure for what you're hoping to catch.
But that doesn't change the fact it's a giant time sink.
Of course, each fish has its own unique flavor, too. And some of them are supposed to be extremely delicious.
When you put it like that, maybe it's worth me trying my hand at fishing after all.
You're just in it for food.
I was hoping we'd get to fish during our travels. And it just so happens I made sure to grab my brother's old rod before I left Vicente. So, if you feel like fishing when we've got a little downtime, no.
Good to hear. Thanks for showing us.
Okay.
Hey, you look like you know your way with a rod. I've been fishing a long time and have built up quite a good collection of equipment for it. I'll share it with you if you're interested. I just want one thing in exchange. All I ask you if you show me the records of any fish you catch. The more you catch, the more equipment I'll hook you up with. If you need anything, I'm always here. Don't be afraid to come up and talk to me. Fishing expert. The fishing expert found a talk upon can teach you basic stuff about fishing. If you show him your fishing notes, he'll tell you where to go catch fish you haven't found, as well as giving you new fishing gear based on how much you've caught. Migal's rod. Beginner's popper. An invitation to fish. Ooh, you're a lifesaver. Now I can get back to my Sorry, forget I spoke. Carry on, don't mind me. Infantry shield.
I'm always amazed what healing arts can do.
Just doing my job. No need to thank me.
Huh?
Hey.
Hmm?
Is it just me, or have those two barely spoken a single word to one another?
I know, right? But after everything that happened with Migal, is it really any wonder?
Kinda puts a damper on the whole journey though, huh? How long do you think they're gonna keep this up?
If it bothers you that much, why don't you ask them?
Why do I have to ask?
How come you walk together like
Huh?
that?
She really doesn't beat around the bush.
You mean Kisara and myself?
You hadn't noticed? You've been practically joined at the hip ever since we left Vicente.
I guess it's force of habit, most likely. I was always ready to protect him, should the need arise. It sort of came with the job description.
Right. From being in the Elde Menancia Guard. Although, Dohalim's pretty capable of defending himself, isn't he?
Having guards doesn't necessarily mean the one being guarded is weak. No one's perfect all the time.
Even so, it's not like they're entirely wrong, Kisara. You're no longer in my employ, after all.
I don't know. I mean, if it's what she's used to and you're both comfortable with it, then who are we to judge?
But she doesn't serve him anymore. It isn't normal for her to keep following him around like she still does.
You know, she's probably right. And a lot has changed over the last few days. I guess it wouldn't hurt to rethink our relationship in light of the new circumstances. Perhaps I'll give it some thought, after all. Does that sound all right by you?
Of course.
You might want to stop asking his permission for every little thing while you're at it.
Sorry. It's not that easy, shaking off old habits. I'll probably need a little time to get fully used to it. I've noticed that sometimes we come across enemies who fight like you, and try to dodge our attacks at the last second.
I hate those guys. I can get some hits in when they move into attack, but otherwise they slip past damn near everything else I throw at them.
If what you're seeking is a way to more reliably hit them, there is a solution.
Try to outclass them on reflexes?
I possess the ability to command Earth elemental beings to some extent. They emerge as the land itself and take root on my command. They will swiftly bind the enemies, at which point you can dispatch them.
Huh?
What he means is that he can make plants grow to hold the enemies in place. At least I think that's probably what he's saying.
I'm glad at least one of us understands him. So basically, if we find an enemy that likes to dodge, we should let Dohalim handle it.
I shall do what I can within my modest means to help.
Did we really just spend that much money? are you looking at me like that?
That armor you wear is standard issue for the Menancian Guard, right?
Originally, I've added some flair to it in a lot of places.
I noticed, especially with that open back.
We guardsmen pride ourselves on never showing our back to our enemies. It's my way of making myself live up to that. Plus, it makes it that much lighter and easier to maintain.
Dohalim, do you have anything to say about this?
Every guardsman is allowed to wear their armor as they see fit.
And you, Law?
Huh? Why are you asking me?
Kebab. Nachi. I want to make some nachi.
This looks perfect. Guaranteed to hit the spot.
Mind if I join you, Law?
Oh, hey, Alphen. What's up?
Nothing. I was just surprised to see you weren't training for once. Got a stomach ache or something?
You know I don't literally train around the clock, right? I do take breaks.
Do you? It seems like you're training every chance you get.
Well, yeah, it can't be helped if I want to get stronger. Still, it's important to let your muscles rest every now and then. That's what my dad told me anyway.
Zephyr said that?
When I was a little kid, yeah. I would get so excited whenever he came home. I always followed him wherever he went and tried to learn as much from him as I could. He said, it's good to be passionate, but don't overdo it. Just like there are times when you want to take a break from studying, sometimes your body wants to take a break from training too. I was always rushing around and forgetting to rest, so he ended up telling me that a lot.
That definitely sounds like him.
It's nothing to get sad over. Still, I can't help but wonder if that was my dad's way of teaching me the dangers of rushing into things too quickly. Then again, maybe I'm just overthinking things. I wish I'd had more time to talk to him about this kind of stuff.
Not closer to Law.
See you guys tomorrow. You guys ready to hit the road? I know I am.
Something feels odd here. Be on your guard.
I just noticed none of you other Dahnans have spirit cores. Why is that?
Both of my parents were part of the resistance in Calaglia. In fact, my birth was kept a secret from the Renans.
Mine too. We always lived in hiding, so I never had a spirit core embedded in me like I was supposed to.
What about you, Alphen? You were a slave in Calaglia before all this, weren't you?
To be completely honest, I'm not sure why I don't have one. All the other Dahnan slaves around me did. I was the only exception. They tended to keep their distance from me to avoid attracting any attention from the soldiers, because of my mask and all. And what about you, Kisara? Do you still have your spirit core?
No. I was able to find a good Renan doctor who's sympathetic to our kind, and had them remove it before I left. They did such a great job, the procedure didn't even leave a scar.
One of the benefits of coexistence, huh?
I know that once the spirit vessel was shut down, there wasn't much need for me to hurry. But still, I didn't like having that mark of servitude lingering on me any longer than I had to. It may sound a little strange to hear me say this, but I'm just me now. Not a guardsman or a slave. I'm my own woman, and this is my chance to have a new beginning. We're in for a long slog with this one.
Glacial spear.
In a bind.
Here's evil.
Go to Demon Fang. Sword Rain.
I'm not
Oh, I get it. In a bind. Fuck you, Dohalim.
This one's all mine.
Flying free! Why can't he just sit still?
Can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done.
It's over. Catapult. Take this.
I'm ready! The tide of battle has turned in our favor.
Then let's keep pressing it out.
Indeed. Light burst forth.
Radiant Citizen!
Going in.
You're mine.
One more. Tiger blade.
You're on.
I'll face you.
Double demon fang.
Elusive deity.
Shut up. You're mine.
Resonate with the earth.
Sword Rain Alpha.
Do it! Crescent
Dohalim. In an instant. Impact block.
Whoa!
Easy peasy. Ha hoodle.
This sure is one rugged road. You'd think they'd keep this at least a little better maintained, right?
Why spend energy fixing that which is rarely used? Repairs require time and effort, which in our world means slaves, often in great numbers. For you, it may be a simple request, but that can quickly become another's difficult burden. Nobody gains anything without someone expending effort.
And you know, somehow that someone always ends up being a Dahnan, while the Renans are the ones who gain.
True enough. Ideally, in a perfect world, I think it's only fair that the ones who need it should be the ones to perform the work.
However, when doing so could be dangerous like it is here, there are many who would prefer that it be others who risk their lives in their stead.
So, what you're saying is that people will just put up with the inconvenience until someone else comes along to fix it for them?
Indeed. And it is those who can no longer bear that feeling that inevitably take action. Much like the Dahnans in our group do so now. As strange as it may be to hear such a thing from the likes of myself.
It's true that most of the Dahnans in Calaglia have been resigned to just accepting things as they are. Still, we can't just blame them for...
What are you making that face for? You're not worn out already, are you?
Nah, just regretting I ever said anything in the first place.
This is a pain. Why can't the Zoogle stand still?
All right.
Perhaps it's time I deploy my secret weapon. I'll stop it right where it stands. Yes! Grow vines from the ground to ensnare enemies and strike them. Effective on fleet-footed enemies, this nullifies their evasive abilities and downs them.
There's nowhere to run from my heart. When he slows down, that's our chance.
It's like trying to keep up to the wall.
You can't get out of this. You're mine. I'm not done. You're out.
When fast enemies like wolves or monkeys appear, send in Dohalim. His boost attack will nullify their evasive abilities to keep them from dodging attacks.
Prepare to be seen. It's over. Sword Rain Alpha.
Resonate with the earth.
One more. Radiant Tiger Blade. Sword Rain Alpha. Sword Rain Alpha.
Can't get out of this.
You're finished.
Their arms were interrupted.
Sword Rain Alpha.
This one is mine.
Sword Rain Alpha. Tiger Blade. You're finished. You're out.
Now we're not
You're mine.
Take this. Can't get out of this.
Tiger.
Face you.
You're mine. Sword Rain Alpha.
Make it rain. This one's got your name on it.
Ashes to ashes. A merry distraction.
There's still more to go.
You picked the wrong fight.
Elusive deity.
You're
Can
mine.
you take it?
It's over.
Prepare to be
Dohalim. In an instant. Impact block.
Got some interesting moves there, Dohalim. I'm glad you're on our side.
I'm simply glad to hear that I can make myself useful to you all. Huh?
What's wrong?
We seem to have come across some rather unusual objects.
What, you mean that pile of garbage?
No mere garbage, I assure you. Still, I've never seen anything shaped like it before. I'm intrigued.
Are you curious about this stuff, Rinwell?
Yeah. I think he might have found some old Dahnan relics. They look like the remains of a bunch of objects that disappeared after the Renans first invaded.
And yet here I am, holding them without so much as a second thought.
I imagine the sight must be unsettling to you.
Not really, just that it must be nice to be a Renin who has time to indulge in stuff like that, unlike the rest of us.
Are you interested in this stuff too, Dohalim?
Charmed may be a better turn of phrase. I simply love objects that can give me a sense of what their maker was thinking, the history that went into their creation. You see, we Renins have hardly any such objects that trace back to our distant past.
I still don't understand what you two find so intriguing about it, though.
Why not? We're talking about our own culture here.
I get that, but it's not like this stuff is any use now, does it? It's just old. Real old.
Oh, but it does. Holding it in your hands like this, one can feel and engage with the distant past in a way no history book can ever accomplish.
I'll take your word for it. Well, seeing as it's Dahnan history, just make sure you're careful with it. All right, Dohalim?
But of course.
Crocodile Crusher. Artifacts confer special effects by simply having them, some of which serve as bonuses that can be enjoyed after clearing the game. You can toggle these to those artifacts on or off the artifact effect list. You can now set 6 additional arts. Press triangle on the art screen and switch between panels. Archer sets to the second art can be executed by pressing L2. Ooh. A second art screen. That's interesting.
There's history in the air here. I can smell it.
I don't smell anything.
Don't encourage him.
Visibility along this path will remain limited for some time. Take care not to get ambushed.
I'm surprised you know the terrain here so well. Lords don't strike me as having much time for wandering in the woods.
Sometimes I would take strolls along here when I wished to be alone.
You always did have a bad habit of disappearing without telling any of us guardsmen.
I'll hold on to that. This one will be difficult to predict.
Sword Lane Alpha!
Ready and ready! Tiger Blade! Leave the F one for me.
Pesky airborne scoundrels.
Sounds like a job for yours truly.
Here I come!
Ready to go!
Lightning thrust!
Denied!
Crush!
Elusive enemy!
Escape! This one's all mine!
The enemy wields arts
You
too.
pick the
You'll soon see about that.
Sword Lane Alpha!
All yours, Kisara.
Holy crap!
Magnificently done.
Sword Lane Alpha!
I'm ready!
Be still! In an instant! Impact Frost! My turn! You're mine!
I'm ready!
Light burst forth.
Radiant Genesis!
My turn! You're mine!
This one's mine!
Go in!
Do it!
Sword Lane Alpha!
Light burst forth.
Radiant Genesis!
I won't rest until I'm the best I can be.
Still striving to be on par with the Lord?
You simply can't be too strong when battle is a part of your everyday.
Thought these were owls.
Brace yourself! This one's tough!
Take this!
Sword Lane Alpha! It's time! You picked the wrong fight!
Airborne
Take
beast!
this!
My
It's over! Got flyers.
I've got this. Let him march.
I'm ready. Totally. In an instant. Impact block.
We work well together.
Finally time to walk.
Lightning thrust.
Resonate with the earth.
Do it.
Totally. In an instant. Impact block. Now.
Good to know my training is paying off.
It's so hilly around here. I can feel my feet getting blisters.
That's mountain hiking for you. It can be pretty tough if you're not used to these sorts of trails.
I take it you're comfortable with them then?
Oh yeah. We used to run up and down these slopes all the time for our training exercises.
Damn. You weren't messing around.
This one's tough, but we have no choice.
You let me know if you need healing. Radiant here! This one's got your name on it!
Ash to ash. A merry distraction.
There's still more to go.
Far enough!
An astral arch?
That's my cue.
Shut him down.
Rotating pile driver.
Here I come. You're finished. You're mine. Sword Lane Alpha.
The tide of battle has turned in our favor.
Then let's keep pressing the attack.
Indeed. Remain ever vigilant.
Be still. Mirage. Here I come. Strike.
So I still had room to grow. This one will be difficult to predict.
You wanna play? Then come at me!
Here I go. I'm only getting started. On guard.
Here I come. You're finished.
Take this. Sealed. Target blade.
You're mine. It's time. You picked the wrong fight. Here I come. No escape. Stardust. One more.
So that's how a lord fights.
I don't perform as well when I'm disturbed.
I'm going to pretend I didn't hear you say that.
Do it! Alpha! Totally! In an instant! Impact block!
We work well together.
Like a finely timed walk.
Mirage! Totally! In an instant! Impact block!
Nice.
We're a pretty lethal combination, aren't we?
What can I say? I had a good partner.
We're in for a long slog with this one.
Can't get out of this!
Let the marksman handle
I'll
this.
face you.
Sword Lane Alpha! Come one, come all!
No shot.
Be still!
I'll heal you all.
It's on!
These enemies aren't doing me.
Blow them away!
Damn.
Now! Sword Lane Alpha! Be still!
No further! I'm in your debt.
And just like that, totally! In an instant! Impact block!
We work well together.
Like a finely timed waltz.
Can you take it? Come on! This one's all mine! You picked the wrong fight! Sword Lane Alpha! You're mine! You're finished!
Rotating pile driver!
Mirage! You're mine! You're finished!
Looks like we won.
This'll make us even more formidable.
More Dahnan ruins here too, I see.
What were people even thinking back then? Trying to build anything around here.
I'll clear the way through.
I've got your back.
Did you see this coming? You're mine!
One more! Tiger Blade!
Mirage! Sword Lane Alpha!
Elusive deity!
Can you take it? Take it! You're finished! You're mine!
This one's mine!
Double Demon Fang! I'm ready! Mirage!
Can you take it?
This one's mine! One more!
Mirage! Take it!
Elusive deity!
Demon Fang!
This one's mine!
This one's holding you!
Tiger Blade!
Eat this!
I'm ready!
Alright, so we got about half an hour from where to go. Normally I stop around now, but like I started late, so I will probably go a little bit longer. Depending on how I feel.
Wow, looky here.
I sure have built up a sweat with this hike.
Rest assured, we have reached the top. It's all downhill from here, quite literally.
So Mahag Saar's just up ahead then?
Indeed. If you look, across this mountain is the Lord's Keep. This one will be difficult to predict.
Going in!
Sword Lane Alpha!
In a bind?
Tiger Blade!
Sword Lane Alpha! Take this!
Resonate with the
Going in!
Sword Lane Alpha!
Let the marksman handle
Double
this!
Demon Fang!
I'm ready! This one's got your name on it!
Action to action. A merry distraction.
There's still more to go!
Eat this!
Elusive deity!
Let's do it!
Rotating
One more!
Whew. Thank goodness we won.
We're in for a long slog with this one!
Double Demon Fang! Begin! Be still!
You're mine!
Far enough!
It's over!
Good shot!
Take this! Double Demon Fang! Dazzle! Mirage! I'm not done!
Take this! Tiger
I'm
Blade!
ready! Totally! In an instant! Impact block!
We work well together, like a finely timed waltz.
Don't get careless.
Still thinking about how to act around Dohalim?
That obvious, huh? Except I don't think I'll be changing much after all. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to stay his servant. However, I am going to treat him like a fellow comrade, the same way I would with you or anyone else. For as long as I can remember, I've spent my life protecting others. But isn't that what friends do too? Support and protect one another in times of need?
Which in the end pretty much means doing as you've always done, right? If that's what you're most comfortable with, I'm certainly not going to give you any grief over it.
Actually, I've been thinking about how I ought to act around you all as well.
Oh?
When I set out on this journey, it was to rid Elde Menancia of its enemies and search for wisdom in the outside world. Wisdom that I could potentially put to use on my return. I'm grateful to you all for letting me tag along, but it got me thinking, what am I actually contributing by being here?
What are you talking about? You know how to hold a weapon, don't you? That's help enough.
Is it though? Sometimes I wish there was more I could be doing to pull my...
Oops, sorry about that. Jeez, I'm famished.
Now that you mention it, what do you guys normally do for food and meals when you're out and about on your travels?
What do you mean, what do we do? We find stuff to eat and eat it. So long as it's meat, I'm not fussy.
Eating what you like can be good for morale in the short term, but you need to think about your diet if you want to stay healthy.
Does that mean eating vegetables too?
Isn't that obvious?
It does, which I guess hasn't been happening up till now.
Yeah, to be honest, we could be eating better than we do.
Understood. In that case, I'll just have to make sure you're all staying healthy and eating right myself. Fortunately, I happen to know a thing or two about cooking as well.
You hear that, Law? Sounds like you'll be eating your greens after all.
What is it?
No, sorry, it's just... I was just wondering if you had any thoughts on all this.
It will do her good to have a project.
No, not Kisara. I meant you. Was there anything you wanted to add?
Me? Certainly you're not looking to me for culinary skill, I hope.
Typical Renan. Leaving everything to someone
Ah!
else.
Rinwell, I don't think...
That said, should you need my skills on the battlefield, please rest assured I have no intention of shirking my responsibilities, regardless of who we may face.
I'm sure no one doubts that. Listen, guys, if we're traveling together, we should probably at least try to make an effort to get to know one another, don't you think?
I wouldn't get your expectations too high in that regard. Believe it or not, sometimes I'm not sure I even know myself all that well.
Something wrong? You look like you're deep in thought.
Not exactly. I was merely thinking about you two and your sense of etiquette.
Oh?
Etiquette?
Indeed. To be quite frank, I find your lack of manners to be nigh intolerable.
That's not being frank, that's being and forget it. Do we really need to talk about this now?
Yes, I find such impropriety on your parts to be deeply unsettling. It concerns me greatly.
What do you want us to do? We were slaves. We never got to learn how to be proper like you.
Yeah, what he said. Maybe you missed how we were just focused on surviving.
Perhaps, but Kisara here demonstrates that it's quite possible for a Dahnan to learn proper manners.
That's because I was given the opportunity to learn. Moreover, my duties as a guardsman required it. Not every realm is like Menancia, as you well know.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to hold us to some other city standards.
Exactly. You've got to remember what it's been like for us living under the Rena elsewhere.
Check your privilege,
I will
Dohalim.
concede that you do indeed make a valid point. It would appear, for all my espousing the virtues of equality between our peoples, I was still looking down on the two
Yeah,
of you.
You don't need to beat yourself up. I wasn't that offended by what you said, man.
Nevertheless, I shall mind my words from here on out. Having said that, I do believe you two would still benefit from learning the basics of proper society. I would be more than happy to teach you both when we camp out, if you like.
Yeah, no, I'll pass. Acting all prim and proper isn't really my style.
If you say so. How about you, Law? Would you like to learn? Although I suppose my first task is to reform your attitude toward the idea of good etiquette.
You're not gonna let this go, are
Nope.
Hey, let's stop for a minute.
What's up? You already tired?
My armor's pretty heavy. I think I need a little rest.
I second that. All of this walking is starting to take its toll on me as well.
What? You don't look it.
We can't spare the time. There's places we need to be. Mahag Saar's capital, Niez, is our destination right now.
But if one of us collapses, it will only serve to slow us down. And in your case, Alphen is the only one who could carry you. Best to rest while you have the opportunity.
Enough already. I need a break, so we're taking one.
I don't need you fretting over me.
Fretting? Hey, it's not like I'm...
Oh!
Been looking for you.
For me, why?
He's tough.
Who are you? Said you were looking for me. Why?
Beautiful, precious life.
What the?
That is all I desire.
Then why are we fighting? Who even are you? I'm not done! Sword Rain Alpha!
Entertain.
Be still!
Can you take it?
Be still!
Now we're not.
Who the hell are you?
Bastard!
This guy's not normal.
His speed is unbelievable.
You mean he even surpasses a lord?
Take this!
Into the fray.
Double deity! It's over!
I never
He has a shit ton of health.
This one is mine.
Lightning thrust!
Hear my call.
You're mine!
Here's evil. Not in your dreams.
Here I go!
Take this.
Tiger blade.
Here I go! Mirage!
I'll heal you all. Going in.
Double deity! Lightning thrust!
Healing circle.
You're helping me become a panic.
It's for the good of all of us.
Is it now? Show me your strength.
Sword Rain Alpha!
Their arts were interrupted.
I'm not done! You're mine!
Take this.
Here's evil.
Oh my god! Get him, Hoodle! You were really gonna kill the owl?
Is that all that you've got? Very well. Then die.
You shot his eye out!
A wretch like you?
Oh no!
Till next time.
Shion, wake up, please!
Elfin?
Shion!
Thanks, but you're kinda crushing me.
Sorry.
It's okay. And so am I. It's not as bad as it looks.
Not bad. That's... Shion, we thought
I'm
you were...
fine. Really.
What the hell were you thinking?
Well, you were trying to protect me too, you know.
Yeah, but I have the sword. It's different.
It's not different. Besides,
Hmm?
Never mind. It's nothing. Anyway, thank you.
But I didn't... Look, I'm just glad that you're...
Alphen?
Sorry.
That guy said he'd be back. I think maybe we should get moving before he returns, right?
Rinwell has a good point. We need to go. Shion, are you sure you're okay?
Shion, are you sure you're okay?
Yeah, I already applied some healing arts to it. It didn't even leave a scar.
But his sword went nearly straight through you.
I'm all right. Unless I've turned into some kind of ghost and I'm haunting you all right now.
No, I know you're not. It's just...
Look, I appreciate you looking out for me, but I'm fine. Really.
There was also that strange light that appeared when Shion was stabbed. It seemed to make the enemy retreat when he saw it. Alphen, do you have any idea what it might have been?
A light? I don't know. I was kind of preoccupied with other things at the time.
Now that I think of it, between that light and the blazing sword, just what sort of person are you, Alphen? Can you use Dahnan astral arts like Rinwell, perhaps?
He wouldn't know, Dohalim. He doesn't have any memories from his past, remember? Besides, we should really be getting out of here.
I suppose you're right. Forgive me. We've almost reached Nies, the capital of Mahag Saar. With any luck, we'll find a place there for Shion to rest.
Hey.
How are you holding up after that last fight? You're not too hurt, are you?
I'm fine, really. See for yourself.
If things get too tough out there, go ahead and fall back. I can take a beating if I need to.
I'm not here just to stand around and have everyone protect me.
I get that, but there's nothing wrong with admitting you have weaknesses too.
Do I look like I'm just trying to put on a brave face to you?
I can't feel pain, but you still can, can't you?
Look, I appreciate you're trying to look out for me, but even you go down in fights from time to time. Please, stop trying to babysit me. It's getting old.
It's not that. I just...
Nies. Oh, no wonder it didn't look like teaming with...
Are we in the right place? This place looks like
Looks
a
like it was
mess.
just sieged.
Yes, this is Nies, the capital of Mahag Saar.
I don't see any signs of people. And the buildings.
Yeah, this doesn't seem like the kind of place people would actually live.
Smoke looks fresh.
No soldiers, no Dahnans, not a soul to be seen. Yet look at these facades. This is clearly a Renin district.
Hey, check out that drawing on the castle gate. That's the Darkwing's crest. It's from an old Dahnan legend about a hero who defeated an evil king with a torch and their trusty owl. That's his crest. I'm sure of it.
Really? First time I'm hearing it. So if someone drew it on the gate...
It must mean the Renans have lost control of the city.
Are you suggesting the Dahnans rose up and defeated the Lord here? Hard to believe, but not entirely unthinkable, given the evidence.
Let's look around and see if we can find someone. They might be able to tell us what happened. This is horrible.
Is there truly no one here?
All of these ruins look like they were made pretty recently.
But if that's the case, then where do you think the people that used to live here went off to? There must have been Dahnans and Renans, right?
That's a good question. Even if the Dahnans rebelled and managed to overthrow the Renans here, there should still be some people around.
This debris... Do you think it could be the work of Renan astral arts?
Perhaps, but the appearance of these ruins is rather uniform, which leads me to believe otherwise.
Hey, Rinwell. That story you told us about the Dark Wings. It said that the evil king was vanquished with a holy flame, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Then there might be some truth to that old story after all. It looks like all the rubble here had been scarred by flames.
Let's not jump to any conclusions just yet. If we can find someone around here, we might be able to get them to tell us what happened. Dohalim, you forgot to take care of the fire yesterday.
What do you mean, take care of? Ah, yes. You meant to put it out?
Yep. If it stays lit, we could end up in real trouble real fast.
I see. I apologize for not realizing that. I shall be more careful in the future.
The way he's talking, it's like the thought of putting it out himself never even occurred to him.
Moving on, Dohalim, I should mention that the clasp for your cape is about to come undone.
Oh yes, I tried to fix that myself, but it simply refused to cooperate with me.
I can't believe I'm hearing this. Are you telling me Renans can't even dress themselves?
Lords like Dohalim have attendants that take care of just about everything they need, so I'm not surprised he sometimes struggles with the basics.
Even by those standards, you've got to admit this is still a little extreme.
Shionna's got a point. I mean, you don't see Renans like her needing so much help to get stuff done.
In my case, circumstances forced me to learn how to be independent. Even so, I still think Dohalim could afford to pick up a few more self-sufficient skills.
Well, specifically speaking, what would you suggest that I learn?
For starters, I think it'd be good for you to learn how to dress. And put on shoes. How to comb your hair is equally important. And learning to manage your possessions better. And then from there...
She sounds like his mom rattling all that off.
Oh, and another thing. About your owl, Rinwell.
What is it?
When he starts to molt, would you be willing to give me his old feathers? I think I could find a use for them.
What do you intend to do with those?
Well, recently, I haven't been sleeping well. However, I hear pillows made from owl feathers are very comfortable and wish to make one.
This is why I hate you, Renans!
Did I say something offensive?
Next time, put your own needs aside for a second and think about how someone might react first. Then consider if it's worth asking at all.
I was just asking if you wanted the feathers he wasn't going to use anymore. I wasn't going to pluck them one by one. I was just going to wait for them to fall out. Hey, there's an owl.
Woohoo!
A red rose corsage.
Woohoo!
Look, Hoodle! One of your buddies!
What are those out in the valley? Windmills? They're huge.
They're most likely used to harvest wind astral energy, so they have to be big.
right there. Don't move.
They have us surrounded.
Who are you? Where did you come from?
You first! Show yourself!
I'm the one asking the questions here. Don't try anything funny. One wrong move, and I guarantee we'll blow you away.
What are you...
My name is Alphen. I came here from Calaglia.
Alphen? The wielder of the blazing sword?
Getting pretty famous, isn't he?
Here is my proof. Will that suffice? Or do I have to burn down one of those houses to make my point?
No need. I believe you. I'm Beifong, of the Darkwings. Sorry for threatening to blow you away. We're still hunting down the remnants of the enemy forces, so everyone's more than a bit on edge right now. Please forgive me.
Remaining? Wait, you mean you already took down the Lord of this realm?
That's right. We took her weapons and turned them right back on her.
Are you the Dahnan leader here in Niaz?
Nah, I'm just one of the commanders. Deadheim's the one who runs the show. I'd be happy to take you to him. Just one problem. The Renans. Seems the rumors you were running with them were true. You do understand, right? I mean, we only just liberated the city from their kind. Everyone's short on trust. And for good reason. Especially Deadheim. I think it'd be best if those two waited outside.
Not going to happen.
I don't think it's a good idea for us to split up. It's too dangerous.
Then it's on your head, friend. Our base is that way.
You could have left me behind, you know.
This isn't just about you, Dohalim.
Ah, yes.
I guess even after you beat the Renans, your work's only really just begun, huh?
Yeah. This place seems like it's got a lot of issues to fix.
So you're Elfin, are ya? Thought you'd be bigger. Huh. Guess the armor beefs you up a bit. You've got a lot of people talking, you know. But in this town, I call the shots. You play by my rules here. Just remember that. Gotta say, I didn't expect you to run with a gang of women and kids. Those other lords must have been real pushovers, huh?
Seriously? Are you this rude to everyone you meet?
Don't interrupt me, you brat. Didn't your parents teach you any manners?
What, you?
So you're the one who took down the Lord of this realm, huh? How'd you pull that off?
We just swiped the Renan's explosives. And then we blasted them all to hell and back.
Explosives? That's a pretty bold approach. But how'd you manage to avoid hurting your own people?
There's so many typos here.
That's how. But the chance to take out a lord was worth the sacrifice.
And the Lord? What did this sacrifice earn you?
Unfortunately, we couldn't manage to finish her off. But now we've really got the girl on the run.
She ran? A lord?
Yeah, the lady was just a coward. She had a whole lot more bark than bite, that's for sure. She's probably hiding off in a hole somewhere. But not for long. We'll find her and drag her right back into town. Then she'll get what's coming to her.
I wouldn't be so sure. She may run, but she'll never go quiet.
Shut up, Bright Eyes! I would have run you through already if you weren't with the blazing sword here.
The whole reason you're fighting is to free the Dahnans in this realm, is it not? If
Shut
so,
your
then...
mouth, witch! That's enough! If you're really fighting for us Dahnans, why keep these bastards around? Why haven't you killed them already?
I'm not going to kill these bastards.
Is that the case, huh? Then tell me the point of the show.
They...
They're my friends.
Friends? Renans are Renans. The scum-sucking bastards who've been draining our souls for 300 years now. But you know that. Maybe it's 'cause you and that little lady are friends and more.
Nah, he earned that.
Son of a... You'll pay for that!
That's enough. Dead on. You know that was completely uncalled for. All of you, get the hell out of my realm, and don't ever come back. This is Dahnans' realm, and it's ours, understand? I call the shots here, and I make the rules. I do, Deadeye, leader of the Dark Way!
Yes! Deadeye! Liberator Deadeye! You are the true leader of this realm. We're not afraid of any bright eyes.
It's only a matter of time before I throw every last bright eye out of this realm!
The Dark Wings! The Dark Wings rule!
That guy's a straight up prick.
Hey, wait up. Told you so, didn't I? You should have left your Renan pals outside.
He was gonna be a dick either
You
way.
don't agree with him, do you? I could tell by the look on your face in there.
That's how things are with him. He loses his temper, then I step in and calm things down.
Better you than me.
If that's all, I think it's past time we were going.
Look, I just wanted to apologize for what Deadeye said in there.
At least somebody's got some manners around here.
He didn't used to be like that. But, well, that's what losing most of your loved ones will do to a man. He may never forgive the Renans.
It's a little ironic how indistinguishable his manner is to that of a lord.
Hey, Bayfon? Deadeye mentioned the Lord is still on the run. Any ideas where she might be?
We looked all over, but found no traces of her. We heard some rumblings about activity in Estaluva Forest, but that's it.
Estaluva, huh?
Wait, you're not going after her, are you? Certainly won't win you any favors with
I don't
Deadeye.
give a shit.
This isn't Deadeye's war, and we're certainly not fighting it for him. Besides, it's like Shion said, her type isn't going to go quietly.
Hey, it's your funeral. Don't say I didn't warn you.
All right, we took out two
We'll be
lords.
sure to keep you out of it. Before we set out, though, is there anywhere around here we can rest?
Sure. Building at the end of the road, opposite side. It's all yours. We use it as temporary lodging, to house people who don't have a new place to live quite yet.
We're not going to run into any trouble there, are we?
Rumors of a certain fiery sword have spread fast. I doubt anyone will be eager to give you guys problems. And here's where I say my farewell. You're on your own, but good hunting.
Before you go, how come you don't hate the Renans as well?
Oh, believe me, I've got my bone to pick with the Renans. Just not with two of them I've never so much as laid eyes on before.
Let's head on over to that lodge. We'll figure out what our next move is there.
I get the feeling Deadeye signed up to be a rebel, so he could have a rooster rule. Heck, he's no better than a lord. In some ways, he's even worse.
I know. How could he use explosives on his own people?
And yet, despite the toll of his actions, none of the Dahnans we've seen seem to question his assumed authority in the least. If anything, they may well consider him a hero, which would say a great deal toward how deeply they resented the Renans here.
Still, I don't think this is as simple as saying the good guys won out over the bad ones.
Yeah, I don't either. Deadeye might have managed to drive the remnants out of Niaz, but that doesn't make the way he did it okay. No matter which way you look at it.
A victory that's earned by throwing away the lives of his own people? No, that isn't a victory at all. I can understand that the Dahnans here are standing up against their oppression, but that doesn't mean they have to humiliate all Renans just to settle the score.
I'm perfectly able to stand up for myself, Alphen. Besides, I'm used to it by...
But you shouldn't have to be, Shion. It's just... What I mean to say is, when you've been a slave for so long, it's easy to accept that's how it should be because it's all you've ever known. Constantly being belittled is no different. I don't think that's fair. For me or for you.
I just don't know, man.
Don't know what?
Deadeye managed to drive out a real live Renan Lord. That's incredible. And he seems to have a lot of supporters surrounding him too. But he's got an attitude worse than any angry Zoogle. Plus, Niaz is in utter ruins. I don't have a clue what his game is.
The Renans are powerful. And because of that, it takes a strong leader to have any hope of toppling them. However, when you take down one dictator only to replace them with another, ultimately it's just business as usual.
If it'd been Zephyr instead of Deadeye, I don't think things would have turned out like this.
Rinwell.
Yeah, I think so too. Zephyr did things differently top to bottom. He's not the kind of person who would have forced his own views or decisions on other people. When you do that, you're ruling over others, not leading them.
To be honest, I don't know what I would have wanted my dad to do if he was in that position.
Law.
The whole thing feels weird in a way. It's a weird kind of feeling, but at the same time, part of me also feels happy. Deadeye and my dad are two very different men. For now, I'm content knowing that.
The city is liberated, and yet the air
I'm gonna
still
stop
hums
at
with
that,
fear and
and-
anxiety. It reminds me all too well of how Vicente once was.
Hums? You mean like music?
Yeah, none of this sounds like music to my ears. In fact, I've never seen any Dahnans with musical instruments in my life.
You don't need instruments to play music. It can emerge naturally from the sounds of people going about their day and the hustle and bustle of life.
You seem to care a lot about music, Dohalim. I didn't know that about you.
Have I not mentioned it? Before I was a candidate for the lordship, I had my heart set on the life of a musician.
You? A musician?
Indeed, music enriches the world around us. I trained day and night to hone my art. Words could not describe my bliss, as my notes carried with them the sights and sounds of nature, the ebb and flow of time, and the thoughts of people on the wind.
Dohalim.
Forgive me. My loquaciousness can get the best of me at times.
Don't apologize. It's interesting hearing what Renan culture is like.
Even though the Renans destroyed all of our arts and culture.
Personally, I was interested in the music of Dana as well. The fact that generations of lords deemed music to be of no use to their slaves and outright forbade the ownership of instruments is lamentable. Not that my words can undo the damage already done.
You see anybody around here who could use our help?
We can't chase after every little thing.
Oh boy. Ooh, lemon gel. Of course I can afford it. actually. Damn, I can't up any of my weapons, can I? Alright, everybody, this is where I'm going to stop for the night. So thank you guys all so much for watching and joining. Thank you, everybody that donated and subbed. I will be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern for the Nintendo Directs for the first one of 2022. I will be joined by Jad Peanut. Maybe he's got work and he's going to be coming home around just before it starts. So hopefully he'll make it. If not, he might pop in later, or I'll just have him watch it prior. Or post it. I mean, I'm getting tired. Don't mind me. All right.
Mahag Saar, a land where the winds sky.
Dohalim, I'm trying to end a stream. If you like the gaming content here, I want to see more of my streams, follow me here on MugiwaraJM on Twitch, and also if you're watching this on YouTube, which you probably are, MugiwaraJM Plays is where I archive these because Twitch does not keep them for more than 2 months. And if you like even more gaming content, feel free to check out Super Bonus Round. This is my Let's Play channel that I do with my friends. We are currently going through... Actually, no. Yakuza 4 ended, and so did Psychonauts. So currently we're going through Sonic 06. We have a couple episodes of Super Mario 3D World, and then we'll be switching over next week to Super Mario 64. I know, every Let's Player in the world has played Super Mario 64, but yours truly has never played it ever in his life. Yeah, I'm a millennial, I'd never played Mario 64. But my girlfriend and one of my best friends, Jad Pina, who I mentioned earlier, got sick of me saying that. So I said, sit your ass down, asshole. You're going to be playing this game. Yakuza 5 is also coming down the line, as well as a co-op playthrough of Cuphead. Jad Pina and I have never beaten that before, so we're going to be tackling that before the DLC comes out in June. And a three-host playthrough of Majora's Mask with me, Jad Pina, and my fellow streamer and Super Bonus Round co-host, Rainwizard767. As well as some one-offs. We got a Valentine's Day episode coming out, and we also have one little fun little knockoff in between all the regular playthroughs. All right, I've rambled enough about my channel and everything going on. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, depending on where you're watching this, and I'll see you for not 1 but 2 streams tomorrow. The Nintendo Direct at 5. And Persona 4 Golden at around 8. And then I'll be back with more Tales of Arise on Thursday, around the same time as I started tonight. Alright, thank you guys again. Have a good one, and I'll catch you on the flip side very, very soon. Alright, let's get hype about that Direct. Hype responsibly, mind you. But I'm excited anyway. Alright, see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.